Good morning. Welcome to the wake up call. How's everyone feeling out of 10?
Out of 10, can't complain. I'm going to go with 6.5.
6.5. It's a
Yeah.
10 out of 10. If you woke up on the right side of the dirt, every day is a 10 for me. What is up? What is up? How's everyone feeling? It's myself. Welcome to the Jesus. I'm rusty. Welcome to the wake up call with myself and Alex. We go over the daily news and analysis, mostly analysis and some weird takes. So let's get
Yes.
into it, y'all. I'll let Alex start it off with the charts. We haven't talked for a little while. I feel like it's been 84 years.
Yeah, 4th of July 2 weeks ago, and then I was camping last week. So, all right. First things first. I mean, all right, it's been a really fun time. I'm excited. I hope you're excited about that. Ethereum, I think, is going to be center stage for a little bit longer here. Not too long, like I think another week or two. And there's something that a couple of things I really want to draw your attention to. Something I saw on X. I'm going to share a different tab here. Man, give me a second. So this is something that really stuck out to me. This was shared by somebody named Polaris. Alts versus ETH, and we see we're in the middle of Ethereum just kind of dominating the altcoins. And then what comes after that is usually at least a V-shaped recovery, a big bounce. So I'm thinking that this is going to play itself out. Something similar to this is going to play itself out with altcoins, with Ethereum taking center stage a little bit longer, and then altcoins very much outperforming Ethereum, other altcoins, I guess I should say. And then so there's that. And then let's get back to the Ethereum chart. There's something that I think it's very much it's important for us to keep on our radar. If you remember from 2021, Bitcoin was center stage. It was awesome, lots of excitement. And then Ethereum stole the show. And then there was this period of time where Bitcoin had peaked. It peaked on April 14th of 2021. And then Ethereum peaked 27 days later. So remember that number, 27 days. In 2017, 2018, Bitcoin peaked on December 17th, I believe, 2017. And then Ethereum peaked 27 days later in 2018. So do I think that $123,000 was the peak for Bitcoin? And now we're 27 days later going to see a peak for Ethereum? I do not. Man, I was looking for one with a chart without this ABC correction on here. Oh, well. But so do I think that that's what's going to play itself out? No. But here's the deal. Something I'm keeping in my mind. If we see Bitcoin stall out and we see Ethereum continue to rip, I'm just going to less than 10% chance it's going to happen, I think. But I'm just going to keep that in mind that maybe I'm going to take some off the table sometime soon just for a little bit. Ethereum's insane right now. I mean, I know as we're talking, like things are kind of going down. I don't really care about that. But this is a four-year trend line that I think when it breaks that, it's gonna rip pretty hard, and there's a lot of resistance there. 702, it's right at the 702 retrace. 786 would be on the other side of that 4-year trend line. Maybe it would wick up there and get rejected, and then bounce off of the 4-year trend line here. After that, I think it'd be pretty smooth sailing. And then there was one other thing. Oh yeah, man, the spot Ethereum ETFs. They are buying an insane amount of ETH right now. It's ridiculous. Yesterday was 600 million. The day before that was 726 million, or just casually buying 90 to 120 times the amount of ETH minted yesterday. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. Price equals supply plus demand.
Yeah. Insane.
Whoa, Alex, but I thought all season was canceled and see you in 4 years. Pack it up, boys. What happened?
I mean, I'm always going to be a little cautious, you know. But this is something I was thinking about with this. At the end of 2024, Trump won and we got excited and everyone was calling for alt season. And so Bitcoin dominance did go down, 7% or something. And I felt like looking back on that was just like we're going we're going to try to will this into existence kind of alt season.
Yes.
Whereas this one structurally with Ethereum doing what it's doing looks a lot more like built in.
Yes. I could not agree with you more. That is pretty much, with different words, that's been what I've been saying. Like, I
Yeah.
thought in November, I thought even Bitcoin was a little bit ahead of schedule. I didn't think that Bitcoin was ready to be at an all-time high at that point, but it was just kind of like a will our way. And this
Yeah.
is what I've said about the Trump meme coins, is like, it's a net neutral, but it caused us to be prematurely euphoric when we were not ready to be euphoric in that way. And the meme coins, in my opinion, it did positive things and it did negative things, in that, like, it caused, the countries to rug people, and and it stole $75 billion worth of liquidity. That is negative thing. But what it did that was positive is it rid a lot of nonsense from the market. And when you have nonsense coexisting with regular stuff, that is fundamental, and it's hard to decipher what is what, that's not a healthy place for the market to be.
Yeah.
um, and I think what happened was, when it kind of purged the nonsense, if you will, I think what happened was it set us back a good 6 months, and we're just now kind of coming back, like you said, to a structural point of, Ethereum being at the 702. This is what I was talking about with Ethereum at the 702, is like, when Ethereum gets there, that's going to be more than enough to see dominance really start to fall. I couldn't agree with you more. I think that this is the structural, like, start of alt season, not the euphoria, not the, max out all your credit cards and
Yeah.
put it all on black. But I do think that this is the start. And the one playbook that has been at play that we, for some reason, just kind of abandoned was the, Bitcoin into like Ethereum, XRP, into the blue chips, into the mid caps, into the small caps, into the micro caps. That's been like how things rotate the whole time I've been into crypto. And for some reason, we kind of abandoned that in November, perhaps because it was so prematurely euphoric. But yeah, so I am with you. I am very cautiously bullish. Obviously, like, I'm a
Yeah.
little bit less bullish, actually, especially on the blue chips like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, than I was, even a month ago. But I am very excited for the mid caps and the small caps and the micro caps.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah. I'll yield the floor to you in a second, but like just looking at ETH dominance here, I mean, my goodness, that looks fantastic. The Ethereum Bitcoin chart looks actually pretty much the same, but somebody's asking, or shouldn't we expect a dead cat bounce on Bitcoin dominance? Sure. Yeah. Let's do
100%.
that. Now, what's that look like historically? Let's go back to 2021. Oh my goodness, I did not mean to move that. Let me fix that here. Where was there wasn't really much of a dead cat bounce in 2021 when the floor came out from under us with Bitcoin dominance. So
Yeah, that's the thing with crypto. And one thing that I've talked about a lot is, in our brain, it makes logical sense to sort of have this gradual, like, ramping up period of, like, you transition, like a smooth transition from boring to starting to pick up. And, unfortunately, that's not really how crypto works. It's just, it goes through these long, grueling periods of just nothingness, of just dead and boring, and then it goes through these moments of violence, whether it be to the
yeah,
upside or to the downside. But 90% of the time it's just sideways and boring. And in our brains we expect this, like, gradual ramping up period, and that would make sense, but that's not how crypto operates.
yes. Well, what do you got?
Okay, well, so I'll go to switch to my chart real quick, and I'll see basically where I think that we're at. XRP to me, I didn't know we could do that looks weird. Let me turn yours off. XRP to me has been a one of the more critical charts. It just made an all-time high. Even though the XRP Army will tell you $3.84 is the all-time high, I would argue like who sold that? That was just an error. That was nothing. But this was, our markdown, our accumulation. I called this out as a bear trap at $2. I said I had a couple critical levels in mind. 243, we smashed right through that. And then the 702 was 280. We also smashed right through that. And then the last one was where we're at now. One thing that is pretty like you kind of have to talk out of both sides of your mouth here with XRP, because what typically historically happens with a lot of charts is rarely do you see the first time you attempt to get an all-time high, you smash through it. So getting a rejection here at this all-time high and maybe back testing the 702 at $3, that would probably be what I would technically expect. However, out of the other side of my mouth, XRP is the king of boring until it's not. So if it wanted to just behave in its own accord and smash right through the all-time high, it wouldn't shock me either way. Right now, though, I don't think that the value is in XRP. I thought that was a decent play from $2, under $2, but realistically, we're sitting at 350, 345 right now, and my target is $5, $8, and $12, and that's been my target since 2022. And I'm not going to move the goalpost on that. And if you were to just do the math from here to $5, it's like, we're talking about 50% move. It's like, Bitcoin's going to do that. It's great. That's crushing the stock market, but that's not why people buy XRP. And I'm getting a lot of questions and comments like, should I buy XRP now? And it's like, if you want to be stacking it for the next 5 years and you're a long-term investor, I think it's a great option. Just like I would view it the same as Bitcoin. But if you're buying it for the next 6 months, I don't think that I think reasonably we're looking at 50% move to a 150% move for XRP, which is kind of where I think that Bitcoin is. Like, I had 4 targets in 2022. 48,000 was my retracement target. 118,000 was my first price discovery target. Check. And then 138 and then 207. And so I think that honestly, of those two, I think that 207 is probably the higher probability, because just how crypto works, like it rarely goes like reasonably parabolic. It normally goes like silly parabolic, which would be beyond 207. But anyways, this is the same thing. We're looking at a 50 to 100% move for Bitcoin. And I think what's going to happen for a little while is Bitcoin is just going to chop for a little bit. And we're going to continue to rotate into the alts. It's a hard to, I just feel like everything that I've been charting out for months and months and months is coming to fruition. And I sometimes see things painfully in advance, months too early in advance. And we're just waiting and waiting and waiting. But it just feels like we are here. The structural, like it's hard to overstate how big of a deal taking out this 62 level on Bitcoin dominance really is. But, is it the chicken or the egg? Does the Bitcoin dominance fall first, or, does Ethereum wake up? I don't know which comes first, but they're happening right now. And this was the same thing. We talked about this too. Ethereum kind of being a beat or two behind Bitcoin. This was the same play that Bitcoin did before it went to the all-time high. If I were to just overlay this real quick. So on the top is Ethereum, and it kind of did the same thing that Bitcoin did. Let's see if I can get a good chart here that shows this. That's not the one. There we go. This will be okay. Maybe. No, that'll be all right. So yeah, like it kind of did the exact same thing here, where I have this. This is what I'm marking as the SOS, and then it breaks higher and starts chopping and consolidating. Right here at this SOS, I want to zoom in a little bit to make this a little bit more clear. Okay. So this is on the top is Ethereum and on the bottom is Bitcoin. And structurally, like it was the same thing. You had your markdown accumulation. You go into your spring. Let me line this up perfectly if I can. The spring is over here. You break from the spring. You chop a little bit here. You break from the spring. You chop a little bit here. And then you kind of get this like parallel wedge, and then you break higher. You make a sort of more macro bull flag. You chop in the bull flag. You have a bear trap in the bull flag. I would count that as your sign of strength. And then you break higher into the more macro bull flag. And I would argue that Ethereum is kind of right here, just now breaking from this, as we can see here. And this is kind of what I anticipate for Ethereum, is maybe getting a macro ABC correction, sort of like chopping, consolidating a little bit at the all-time high, before breaking higher into price discovery, which for Ethereum is 7,200. And that's been my target for Ethereum for a while. 3,300, 7,200, 12,000. Those are my three targets. So yeah, it just feels like everything that we've been talking about is coming to fruition. And, I'm not going to move the goalposts on XRP. I'm not going to move the goalposts on Bitcoin. I'm not going to move the goalposts on Ethereum. And this is when the start of the race has officially started, in my opinion. And that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense now that XRP, or not XRP, that Ethereum would follow Bitcoin. This isn't, I don't think, as much in your wheelhouse, but it's like as soon as the ETFs flipped positive in their cumulative flow, I mean, Ethereum started doing very well. And I've been thinking through something. I'd love your thoughts on this. Where, when it's over, maybe it's not over as bad for Bitcoin and Ethereum. I mean, it's still a drop, sure, but like not as rough, not as difficult as the rest of the altcoin market, because of,
yeah, 100%. Like, I think the days of Bitcoin crashing 80-90% are done.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, the reverse of that is like we start to get less of a, 10x move from Bitcoin from the bottom, which is basically probably what we're going to get if Bitcoin goes to, 138 to 207. 138 would be a 9x, and then 207 would be, a 12x. So like the days of us getting a 10x on Bitcoin in a 4-year span are probably done too. But I definitely could see, and I talked about this too, is like, where is my chart? I really thought that this was from November. My God. From November, all of this, if my charts would ever show up, Jesus. Hold on one second. Let me grab. Okay, here we go. So this right here is the fractal that I've been using for a little while. And I basically said that structurally, this is what's happening. And this is just a really like compressed full on cycle. And if, I think that this was our accumulation, and that was our, clearly the bottom over there. If we look at like, what did we really correct to from the top of 108 to 74, it was 30%. I think that is more 30 to 50%. That's probably what we're going to be expecting for Bitcoin. Ethereum might be a little bit more.
Yeah.
Moving on, because the institutions are involved and they play the game differently.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would expect what's a coin that won't have an ETF anytime soon as a placeholder here.
XCN or, XYO.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those will go down like 99% or something, but
yeah. I mean, yeah, the altcoins are going to get hurt a little bit more. Yeah, I do think that, and we've talked about this too. I think there's a reasonable plausibility that everyone says, 4-year cycle's done, but pack it up, see you in 4 years at the same time. But, anyways, everyone says that the 4-year cycle is over, and what they think that means, or what they're projecting is that we're going to go into this prolonged bear market of like 5-7 years or something like that. But what I think is equally, if not more likely, is that Bitcoin starts behaving like the stock market, in that it has a long period of 5-6 years of a run up, and then it has a 1 year markdown period. And I think that is more plausible than even the 4-year cycle's broken. That means it's just 10 years of dead nothingness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that.
Yeah, and I was thinking, did you see this this announcement, or that Trump wants to open up? I didn't look at it entirely. He wants to open up retirement to crypto or something in a way that I guess is not open right now. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and that feels like the I loosely know what you're talking about.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, that's I mean, if you think about what that looks like, that looks like people putting, from their paychecks on a regular basis, 5% of that going to a 401k and their employer matching, and some of that going to Bitcoin, maybe without even their knowledge. So,
right. Yeah, and that's why the S&P behaves the way that it does, because it's the biggest dollar cost average in the world.
Yeah.
So if you add Bitcoin into that equation, that would be crazy. Yeah, that would be the biggest dollar cost average in the world.
Yeah. What about Cardano? I'm seeing a question. What about Cardano? It seems to be also the king of boring, maybe in another kingdom.
Yeah, I would put Cardano right under, like, that to me is a logical, like, next step in this game of, like, you get your Bitcoin first, then it's XRP and Ethereum. And then, there's like a handful of other like blue chips, like Link, Cardano, VeChain, maybe like Quant, maybe like those kind of like bigger blue chips that are smaller than Ethereum and XRP. I would lump ADA in that as the next sort of mover. But yeah, that's it. It, like, to me, Cardano has the exact same chart as Bitcoin did back in 2013. I've talked about this like pretty much ad nauseum at this point. But
you said 2013.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show it to you. So same structure. By the way, like, I would say 80% of the we'll just do market cap. 80% of the altcoins have this same structure, by the way. And you know this, like, you can already see it, Alex, because we've already talked about this enough. But that's my favorite structure right there. That's what I like to see. But I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about here. So on the top is ADA, and you could replace ADA. Basically, I'm doing analysis for 70% of the altcoins right now. But ADA has the exact same setup as Bitcoin back in 2013 through 2016, 2017. Okay, so on the top is ADA from 2021 through present day. On the bottom is Bitcoin from 2013 through 2016. And you can see it. You have your markup, distribution, markdown, accumulation, long, boring bottom over here. You get your sign of strength, which marks firmly that, hey, the bottom is in. Backtest of that, reaccumulate, backtest, reaccumulate, move higher than the sign of strength, move higher than the sign of strength, backtest, reaccumulate, backtest, reaccumulate. In my opinion, ADA is somewhere in this, where it just starts, like, if we zoom in on Bitcoin after the move higher and backtest, reaccumulate, what you start to see is it kind of just gruels its way higher. And crypto has a way of doing this thing where it kind of gruels, and then you break the point of, like, last return, if you will, and it just kind of goes crazy. And Bitcoin too, like what I talked about earlier, is like, rarely do you see an all-time high. You just smash through an all-time high. That was kind of the case over here with Bitcoin. You kind of fought with this all-time high for a little bit, and then after you break this point of no return, you just go in this like crazy mark up. Now, this isn't what I'm expecting for ADA, but something structurally like that is on the horizon. I would say that we're in phase D and about to start phase E, and it's just going to be the rotation from Ethereum into these other coins. That's sort of the next phase. But my targets are 2468 for ADA.
2468. I was just going to ask because somebody was asking a question. Does he have a price target for Cardano? I read something interesting yesterday. Oh man, I saw it on X that there somebody some one of you look it up. I don't know, but somebody was someone official was saying that there are 3 mature blockchains in existence: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. I thought that was interesting that Cardano was the 3rd one in there. Just a side point.
Yeah, I think so. Like, we've talked about our list of like, what do we think is here 20 years from now? What do we know is here 20 years from now? What do we suspect here is here 20 years from now? I would almost say that I don't want to say I know that ADA is here 20 years from now, but it'd be the closest altcoin outside of Ethereum and XRP that I would want to put in there probably. Like, I feel comfortable holding it for 10 years.
I could see Cardano still existing in some capacity 10 years from now, 20 years from now, for sure.
Yeah. Someone says, "What's happening to XRP now? Why is it going down?"
Oh no. It was under $3 2 days ago, and now it's at 341.
Well, I mean, forget 2 days ago. Less than a month ago, it was at $2.
Yeah.
$1.80. Yeah. William Watson posted a video of that.
About what?
I think what you were talking about, the oldest blockchain. I think that's.
Oh, really? Okay. The most mature.
Yeah. I had to sell 0.08 Bitcoin yesterday. Finished construction on my apartments. Already had loans. Kind of sad. That's okay, bro. Like, honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I'm considering rotating some of my Bitcoin. I mean, we're already at my macro target, my first major macro target. This is the beard bet target, 118. I said that 118 before 72, or I would shave my beard.
Here we are. Somebody asked me a question and somebody just asked it again. And I looked at the chart and I was like, I bet Devin would really like this chart, or it's a chart that Devin would be able to analyze. I couldn't really give any thoughts on it. And it's Harmony 1. So
I do like 1. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. I do like 1. I think I have that on my value plays list. This is just, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So I would say that this is your SOS right here. Literally, when I say like 70% of the market looks like this,
yes,
that's literally, what it is. Now, the only thing that like kind of sucks about Harmony 1 versus like ADA and some of the other ones is the lows aren't really moving higher, whereas ADA, that's the case. It's kind of trending up, but that's okay. I would just be more inclined to believe that a retracement is more likely rather than a full-on price discovery. But yeah, that chart to me, that's like, again, 80% of the market looks exactly like this chart right here.
Yep.
In the macro.
Let me answer a question here. Is there a scenario where you don't sell your XRP this run? There is no scenario where I don't sell my XRP. It will most likely go under $1 in the bear market, and that's okay.
Someone said, "What's my prediction?" 20 cents would be the retracement. 18, 19 cents.
You would say, "Oh, okay," for Harmony 1.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. I thought you were talking about XRP. I was like, "Whoa."
No, I think about $1. Yeah, that's probably reasonable. It depends on how high we go, but I would say probably $1 is where we are going to go. And if you're asking me the question, is there a scenario where I don't sell my XRP? The only scenario would be is if we don't go to $5.
Sure.
Because I've already taken, enough profit to where I feel fine about it. I feel fine about round tripping everything else. But other than that, if we go to $5, $8, $12, I don't care if Santa Claus comes to me and says, "Ski, we are using XRP to go to the North Pole. Keep it forever." I'm still going to be taking profit. You know, that's
Yeah. So I had a bunch of XRP at what, like 50, 60 cents, and I sold a bunch of that the first time it got up to $3. And I don't have a system in place like Devin, which is probably hurting me. But then I rebought, you know, because just for this chop, this range and everything. And Foregone's in the house. You don't know who he is, but now I am looking. So I will not be waiting. If it doesn't hit $5, I'll still be selling my my XRP at some point. So especially seeing a comment from the unknown 101, XRP is not going under $1. Okay. All right. Yeah. Dogecoin. What? Go ahead.
I don't think that it's probable that it goes under $1, but saying like it couldn't.
Yeah, that's anything's possible.
Yeah, anything's possible. I think $1 is a likely landing spot. Again, like it depends on how high we go. People are already asking me like, what are my targets for entering for Bitcoin? You know, in the next full bear market, whether it's 2026, 2027, whatever that timeline might be. And to me, the answer is like, how high are we going to go? If you're telling me we're going to 150, I would say my 3 targets are going to be 100, 70, and if we're lucky, blessed, and highly favored as an investor, the very best that I think we're going to get is about 50.
Okay.
And you might disagree with that, but those are my targets where I'm going to be aggressively. Like if we get 70, I'm going to, be pretty aggressive.
I'm definitely a lot more open to that. I mean, I know you guys have heard me say 30 is kind of where I think it is, and it's going to be. That is based off of just the same thoughts that I've been sharing for a while, which is just that Bitcoin's never really experienced a recession or a financial crisis. So I'm curious to see what happens in that scenario. But like, I'm open. I'm much more open to that because I mean, I have flipped my thesis for being a bear for the end of 2025. As soon as the stock market hit that, you know, I was like, okay, you know what? Hit all-time highs. I was like, all right, stock market is likely going to price discovery. And if that's going to happen, then Bitcoin's not going to be bearish for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that to me is more of an indication rather than the 4-year cycle is Dow Jones makes an all-time high, S&P makes an all-time high. Typically what we see is Bitcoin 45 days within that making an all-time high, and that's exactly what we saw again. I just think it's like I've said this before, and I just view it this way of like, is the market broken? Yes. The answer is yes. Are there like major fundamental flaws, especially with the dollar and the way that they inject money into the stock market and the way that they inject money into the bond market? Are there like major fundamental flaws that at some point in time the chicken's going to come home to crow? I would say yes, but and I always relate it to 2008, and I always relate it to Michael Burry of like, he found a major fundamental flaw in the market, and he bet lots of money in 2005 and wasn't correct until 2008. And the markets just kind of have a way of just being, the saying goes, the markets can be irrational far longer than you can be solvent. So is there like major issues at play of like us just injecting money? And yeah, I think so. And that's kind of the whole point of crypto in the first place. But how long is that going to be to play out? I would argue that they're going to play that game as long as human
until 2029. let me finish that for you. That's the Devin theory. Let me show a chart here. If you could switch to me, just real quick.
While I'm switching, I'm going to answer the unknown. He says, "Why do I feel like XRP has topped this cycle?" Well, because it's down today, but also. Also, I would say, like, honestly, it's more close to topping than not. We were at 30 cents in the bear market. So,
So this is a chart that I find to be pretty fascinating. It's Bitcoin priced in the Swiss franc, and Bitcoin has not hit an all-time high yet in the Swiss franc. And that just goes to show like Bitcoin has gone well beyond its all-time high in the dollar, but it just goes to show what's going on in 2025 with the US dollar as a currency. Which, okay, you know what? Let's make our dollars. Let's increase the value of our assets in comparison to the dollar. But sorry, there's people begging me for charts for prices. You guys are driving me crazy. So, any thoughts on Say and LDO? Those are the ones that. Guys, why aren't you answering my question, guys? I said, just seriously, just while I was speaking, somebody just begged me again to talk about Say.
Yeah. I don't have any thoughts on Say, to be honest with you.
All right.
I mean, I could look it up. That chart right there, it would go to, I mean, it looks good to me, honestly. Like, I think it probably will go into price discovery, but you know, breaking the all-time high the first time is usually takes a couple times. So we'll see. I think that Bitcoin's probably going to range here for a little bit.
All right, conservative 76 cents for Say, but you know, full-blown alt season, who knows, maybe a 4.236.
Someone said Jam said the top was 2,700 for ETH. Yeah.
Jam. I'm sure we have whatever opinions on Jam. I still respect him. It's hard for me to sit here. He doesn't want to admit he's wrong about anything, and so I feel bad in that regard, because you have to admit that you're wrong. That's how you can move on. Like that's what I did. End of 2025, I was a bear.
February
I had validation. Yeah.
I was wrong in February.
Yeah,
you know, it happens. We're perfect. We're not perfect.
$2 to $4
Me and Alex are perfect.
Sure, $2 to $4 for Say. There you go, Harris Dollar. LDO. Now I did see. I mean, it's right. I mean, it's super bullish over the last few days here. So I could see it cooling off right at the 200-day moving average. That's a key level for me. I don't know how old this is. I've never looked at this chart. I don't. Yeah. All right. So 2021. It was around in 2021. I don't know. This is really surprising to me looking at this all-time chart. Just how little. Oh wait, no, this is logarithmic. Never mind. I was like, man, that looks all right. Regular,
like terrible.
All right. No, I mean, I was like really impressed for a second, but then I realized it was logarithmic. This looks like a lot of other charts, right? Devin?
Yeah.
Like every other chart.
Yeah, I think so. By the way, that right there is why I don't do logarithmic. Everyone asks me all the time, like, why don't you do logarithmic? It makes me too biased to the upside.
Yeah.
Someone asked me, Ski, what do you when do you see gaming crypto running? Okay. I talked about this with AI, last night on my live stream, and I think we kind of put the I don't remember what the saying is, to be honest with you. I'm not even going to attempt it, but basically we're doing things kind of out of order. In my opinion, it's like, are the narratives going to go? Yes, but really, I think the bigger thing that's at play is it's more so Bitcoin into Ethereum XRP, into your large caps, into your mid caps, into your small caps. That's what I think is more at play. And you might be able to point and say, like, oh, the AI narrative is popping. It's like, yeah, but so is the gaming. Like they're all kind of gonna go based off of market cap size. I think is more, you're gonna have your onesies and twosies, but the general sectors, I think, is more market cap size and rotation of capital.
That was a big thing that came at the end of the bull run in 2021, was people were starting to talk about narratives. And then we did see AI, the AI narrative, the AI agent narrative, but we really haven't seen all that much in 2024, 2025 in terms of narratives. I mean, the meme, could you call that a narrative, or just people wanting to be degenerates? I've kind of drifted away from this whole, like, there's going to be this huge narrative run, and just, what I'm trying, what I'm putting most of my effort into is making gains off of blue chips and meme coins, and forgetting about narratives. If I like a chart, I'll buy or I'll long that crypto. If I don't like the chart, I won't touch it. So,
Yeah, I think that's a healthy place to be. Just
Yeah.
people get kind of too emotionally attached to their projects, and that's how you become a long-term bag holder of. You don't realize the gains because you have too much emotional ties to it. But just
Yeah.
trying to consistently make ROI, I think, is the better play. And how can you do that? Well, I think the blue chips, a lot of them are going to be here 5, 10, 20 years. And if you bet against the dollar for 5, 10, 20 years, I think you're going to win.
Yeah.
Someone said the cart before the horse. Yeah, the cart before the horse. That was the old country saying that I was saying, thinking of. Top 50 coins hitting a 2x from here. I think a lot of them. I mean, I think
Yeah.
Bitcoin. A lot of people say 2x is like 100%. That's really 1x, but yeah, I think Bitcoin has a likelihood of doing that.
I think it's
Um,
possible for a lot of them at this level.
would I touch XRP right now? Would I? No, no, I would not. But my average price is under 30 cents.
Yeah.
So, that's my bias, and I'm cool with my portfolio of XRP. I don't have any interest. I'm only looking to exit my XRP, not the other way around. Um, yeah.
Why is XRP down today if Trump is signing Genius Act today?
Ah,
Let's move on. I saw that and thought it was funny.
buy the rumor, sell the news. Like that's the thing, right?
And XRP is killing it. So,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
down
like,
for the
what is
moment.
it? Up 10 years of stock market gains this month.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is my least favorite time of being a content creator is shortly after we go into price discovery and we have little 10% dips
Yeah.
and 20% dips. So people are like, but Ski, I thought it was up only forever. What?
Yeah. It's man, I mean, if you were to just look at any chart, literally any crypto chart, at least that existed in 2021. I mean, what you'll see is like Solana. Solana was a huge winner from July to November of 2021, but there were plenty of times where it dipped really hard and then pumped even more. So now, I mean, as far as XRP is concerned, yeah, I'm in the same boat with you with my spot holdings. I'm willing to, and I'm sure you are too. I'm willing to trade XRP um, with my leverage account if I see a good setup, and I'm actually in a long right now on XRP.
Same.
Yeah,
I'm in a long on XRP as well. I closed half of it
yeah,
last night, actually, but I'm still in it.
yeah. So there's no for spot buys. No, I'm looking to sell my XRP, but not right now. My first exit is 1.618, I think, around the 1.618 on the all-time chart. That's 528. So maybe five's a nice round number. I think I'm going to exit around $5.
Yeah.
Like you, I mean, a little bit, not all of it,
Right.
but
Yeah, probably about 20%, 25% for me, somewhere in there. I would look at the you kind of got to do a little market cap math. I know the XRP
yeah,
Army says the market cap doesn't matter, but if you look at, it's kind of the same with Solana, where they're kind of slightly different. So I would kind of like, look at that a little bit and see like what is the ROI for market cap. I would pay attention to the 1618, 2618 of market cap.
market cap. Yeah, you're fair point for sure.
I know that we're told that it doesn't matter because of the Swift system and all this crazy stuff, but
Yeah,
in the world of reality and not the land of nod and odd, of realized gains, market cap is the only thing that matters. Uh, uh, XRP will go to 0. Okay, that's going to be hard because there's so many wallets that have 10 XRP on them.
yeah, yeah. I tweeted something yesterday about like, hey, this is why you hold XRP, because when it rips violently, and you don't worry about the rest of the market pumping. And somebody commented on that tweet that he was unfollowing me, and it's like, I'm not in the army. I don't hate XRP. I like making money off of XRP, off of whatever, you know. It's like the XRP army thinks I'm a hater. I mean, you too, right? I mean, the XRP
No.
army thinks we're haters.
Yeah, we catch hands from both ends of the
Yeah.
spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say we're both kind of in the middle of like, we think it's a, like we accumulated in the bear market. It's a going to be here 5-10 years from now, but also like thinking anything, like if you want to tell me $20, like, sure. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be waiting for $20, but I think that that's reasonable. But if you're going to sit here and tell me $589, $10,000 because of, if you change the rules of reality and, space and time and the space-time continuum, no, thank you. Like, I don't drink that Kool-Aid. I just look for consistent realized gains rather than theorized gains. But yeah, me and Alex catch hands from both sides. There are people that hate XRP more than, Trump. And there are people that love XRP more than Trump. And we just catch it from both sides of like, you're not bullish enough. XRP is a scam. It's and the truth is somewhere actually in the middle, is what I think.
Yeah.
What do you think about XLM? XLM is the sister of XRP. Whatever XRP does, XLM is going to do to a certain extent.
786. Just be mindful. That's not from the all-time chart though, and this is price, not market cap. I am very well aware of that, but right at the 786. So could it chop for here? Could it go higher? Yeah, absolutely. Could it hit a new all-time high? I mean, my price target for XLM was pretty much the same price it hit in 2021 and in 2018. Maybe it'll go higher. It could certainly go higher. Maybe it was suppressed by being connected with, being the silver to XRP's gold in 2021 when the Ripple lawsuit happened.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Someone said owners have 51%. Yeah, show me an asset or anything. Like owners have the top 1% own 89% of all the wealth. The top 10% own 99% of the wealth. Like in every sector, that is true. I don't know why it would be different for XRP.
Yeah. Someone says I sell 20,000 XRP at 0.5. I'm sorry. And Dave Portnoy sold his XRP 2 weeks ago. So you're in good company. So maybe you'll be a multi-millionaire. I don't even know what Barstool Sports guy.
Yeah. Can Solnick make millionaires? I think it will.
Solnick, anything can make millionaires, but what are you talking about? $1,000 into $1 million? I mean, hey, maybe one day.
Yeah. I mean, I will be making videos until I die, and I will be, Solnick will be at the forefront of that.
Yeah.
So
we already talked about Cardano. I want to tell you about he real quick. I learned how to do something today, which some of you might roll your eyes about. I learned how to do raids in the He Telegram group. And we've been doing raids today. Well, I've been initiating the raids, and then people have been raiding. And there's been a lot more excitement for He today. And a huge difference between with these lower market cap meme coins, a huge difference between positive days and negative days could literally be the raids. So
yeah, it's definitely the community. And that's, I say all the time, under a certain market cap, you are, you're betting on the horse, or you're betting on the jockey and not the horse, and you're betting on the community. And, everyone's like, what's the marketing plans? It's like, you're the marketing plan. Like it's us. It's going to take all of us doing all of our parts. That's what it takes.
Yes. I'm going to steal that. Because it's always any marketing updates, and it's like, we've tried lots of things. And I wouldn't say that those things were necessarily failures, but there's a point where it's the market will heat up really, really well, and like, are we putting in the work to take advantage of that when the time comes?
Yeah, I got 1 million views on TikTok this week. That's the marketing plan.
There you go.
Multiply that by 20 years.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, and that's free. So difficult, but if XRP goes to $12, will it go back to $3 in the bear market? Even I think so. Yes.
Wait, what was if XRP hits what?
$12.
Oh yeah,
which is my parabolic target.
yeah.
I think that $3 would be a likely landing spot. So I do think like the higher targets we get to, the less likely we're gonna like. I would probably tier it like this. So let's say like I predicted the future perfectly, nailed it on the head. 5, 8, and 12. So if we go to $5, I think we're probably going to come back to $1. If we go to $8, it's probably like maybe 2, and if we go to 12, it's probably more like 3.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see what happens, because there's one thing that I just did not account for, I think, with a lot of the ISOs was just the suppression in 2021. I think they were all suppressed in 2021 because of the Ripple lawsuit. And so are they going to make up for lost time this time around? I would say a $12 XRP would be making up for lost time.
Yeah.
I mean, so $5. I mean, I remember that was, why are you so bearish, Ski?
Yeah. People
$5.
said I was crazy when it was at 30 cents. And,
yeah.
I was saying $5.
I remember, I mean, my initial price target was $3.
Yeah.
In my YouTube video from 2024. And I remember looking at that market cap and being like, man, that's a stretch. Like making the video and be like, I don't know, man, that sounds a little too high. $175 billion. But here we are.
Yeah. I remember even like, before XRP ripped the first time when it was at like, cause I'm pretty sure we were doing videos when it was still below $1.
Easy.
Yeah. So I think I know we were like individually, but I mean, I think that we were doing podcasts together when it was still below $1.
We were doing spaces on X during the summer of 2024.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure, like, I remember you being like, every time you say that number, it's like, it blows my mind. But
yeah.
And then you were like, oh, but here we are. So yeah, no, I'm not going to move the goalposts. Like when we get to $5, I'm not going to be like, well, we're here, so it's just going to keep going. I'm going to take profit. I'm going to have realized gains. I promise you that. If people keep asking about ADA, listen, like ADA a lot. It's probably one of my top 5 blue chips. 2, 4, 6, 8. Those are my targets.
Yeah. There's a point during a live stream that inevitably I reach where I just like, I got to give up. And that's where
you answer the same question 27 times.
Yeah. And every question is about a crypto that I answered already. But I mean, we haven't quite gotten there yet. What's your chain link target?
So 38, 78, 178.
Okay.
And listen, I want to be clear too, like the sort of strategy that I outline for people when I book calls with people, and I'll just kind of give you guys some free, like, this is how I approach things, so you can at least understand, like, what things are coming from. I think that my first target is relatively conservative on a lot of stuff. And that is I put it in baseball terms of like, you want to secure the win. So target number 1 is about securing the win. And I think I give 3 targets because I think you should exit at least 2 of those. If not all 3 of them, parts of your portfolio. And I put it in baseball terms of like, target number 1 is mostly securing the win and making sure that you can no longer strike out. And it's like in baseball, if the bases are loaded, it's the bottom of the 9th. The best that we can do is get a 4-run shot, and the worst that we can do is strike out and lose the game. But if you take profit number 1, you can secure the win, and it's like you have the same at bat, but now you can't strike out because you've already guaranteed the win. And the awesome part about crypto is instead of a 4-run grand slam shot in crypto, there's reasonable opportunity to get, instead of a 4-run shot, it might be a 40-run shot, or sometimes even a 400-run shot. And then just having as many at bats where you literally cannot lose because you've secured the win. So that's kind of how I tailor things. My bigger targets are pretty parabolic, and my first targets are pretty conservative, I think. So that's how I do things.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to do it. Just like, here's a absolute pandemonium, which in crypto we've seen absolute pandemonium plenty of times.
Right.
And here's a, I mean, like Bitcoin in 2021, for example, everyone was saying it was going to go over $100,000.
Everybody.
Yeah. And that was because that's all we knew was absolute pandemonium.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of got absolute pandemonium, just not in Bitcoin.
Right.
Instead, we had a distributive top.
Right.
So
yeah, and I think like securing the win is a valuable thing.
Yeah.
And then like you're playing with house money, you can't lose. And I also, on the flip side of that, I always recommend kind of holding maybe 10% as a forever bag, and that's your insurance policy of like, well, what if the XRP army is right and it really is going to 10,000? Well, guess what? You've accumulated enough to where your 10% forever bag, that's going to be more than enough to do more than enough, because hopefully you're not like, if I just invest $27 into XRP, I'm going to be able to retire my lineage. Hopefully that's not your mindset.
Yeah.
But having a moon bag is like, if it really wants to go on a moon mission, so be it. You got 10%, and that's going to be more than enough to do more than enough.
Yep.
Is ICP a top 5 blue chip?
No.
I think it's top 10. I like ICP.
I like it. I like it for the same reasons I liked it in early 2024. Fundamentally, at least, it's just, the chart doesn't look nearly as good as a lot of other charts right now. But I'm sure you would have a different take on that.
I do have a different take on that, but that's okay. That's what makes our show awesome. This is not the echo chamber wake up call.
Yeah, it's just my thing is, all right, ICP should be fine. I think that there's a group of cryptos that will just get up to like a certain moving average and get rejected there and not do anything. Now, ICP probably not going to be one of those cryptos, but there's several in my mind, especially like utility cryptos that were launched in 2024. So I don't want to miss out on like more of a sure thing by trying to guess which one of those cryptos that are still underperforming are going to do well.
I think ICP, the highest probability is it's going to retrace. And there's decent ROI and just a 0.5 Fibonacci retrace.
Sure. But what's a 0.5 with ICP?
$20 to $40.
Okay.
Somewhere in there, I think, off the top of my head. Yeah, my targets are like, if I were to get 4, it'd be 10, 20, 40, 100 would be pandemonium. Let's see. Yeah. So even the micro retrace would be 13. So there you go. And then the macro would be 40. So yeah, 40 to me, that'd be more like pandemonium, because I don't count all of this over here either. I pulled my fib from 2021 of September. So this to me is just a nothing burger. Oh, I'm not even showing my screen. Whoopsies. I'm a Sagittarius. So yeah, all of this over here, I don't count none of this. This is where I pull my fib from, September of 2021. And then the 0.5 on that is $40. And then I even pulled a fib over here, and you could get some targets off of that, basically $13. And then the 1618 of the micro is $20. So there you go. 10, 20, 40, and then 100 would be like absolute crazy euphoricness, but I don't think that that's going to happen, to be honest. But I do think that, $10 to $40, I think we have some decent exits there. And just, think about how many coins are You know, we're kind of ranging here. I think that it's at the beginning of accumulation. There's lots of coins that are dead, so-called declared dead, you know, until they retrace or make price discovery, and then all of a sudden it's should I buy more?
Yeah.
XRP, perfect example. Like how many people told me XRP was dead in 2022, 2023?
Yeah.
Is laughable. Sometimes I'll go back on my videos and people will comment stuff and I'll just be like, update.
Paul, the answer to your question is yes. So please stop spamming.
I'll be like, update. The XRP is going to 10 cents. Update. Bitcoin's going to 12K. Update.
Yeah. We're talking about ICP right now, Pablo.
So there you go. Answer, please, bro. Celestia, I don't have any on that.
Celestia.
Yeah, I don't even know how to say it right.
Yeah, somebody said they bought $100,000 of Celestia, and that's a classic example of a 2024 utility crypto that I want nothing to do with. It actually, I think it launched in 2023, but it's still the same thing.
Yeah. What are your other like 2024 utility that you want nothing to do with? What's your list? Top 5 utility of 24 that I want nothing to do with. Here we go.
Dimension is one. I have that chart on TradingView here. It's just like it keeps on putting in lower lows, you know, and looks flat. I don't even know, putting me on the spot here. Most of them. I mean, just really, I think a lot of those were created with this idea of like, oh, hey, look at all these cryptos that were launched in you know, the 2021 bull run that went to $1 billion valuations and scammed people with their tokenomics. I'm going to do something even crazier. I'm going to make it so that the tokenomics are even more sketchy. And and then we're going to ride this wave of euphoria. January 1st of 2025, my crypto is going to skyrocket and I'm going to be a billionaire.
Yep. Listen, I cannot stress this enough. If you could just learn one thing from me, pay attention to market cap. Market cap tells you the true price of a project.
Yeah.
Someone says Fat Cat's only key he about to explode. I could not agree more. And with that, I think it's time to wrap it up. Any closing thoughts, Alex?
Yes. Sorry, I just read a troll comment. Somebody telling me to take the L. Okay. All right. You should learn a thing about invalidations. How about that? Invalidations. They're your best friend. Invalidations. Yeah. Okay. So that's my closing thoughts.
My closing thoughts are, you know, get a plan in place, stick to your plan. Do not move the goalpost. If you want help setting up that plan, you can hit me in the DMs and I will never message you first. If your boy Ski or Ski's Crypto says, how's your trading going? Send me, you know, money. That's not me.
All right.
Somebody from Pakistan, Kakistan, Turkestan, Afghanistan. It ain't me though. Bye guys. That's going to be it for this time. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless.